All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our GMC Tweet of the night. Braden Fuoco. He's a newest Steeler. Another guy that I can't pronounce his name. I'm going to have a tough time with him. Seumalo, Isaac Seumalo is going to be another tough one. Chris. They're drafting all these guys now. But this guy, Braden Fuoco, the guy that they signed today, he's basically a practice squad guy. I'm not getting my hopes up with this guy, but he is a nose tackle, undrafted guy from LSU. He played in, 19 games, his 3 starts, only because of injuries with the Chargers. But he's going to help. He's going to help the line. Depth, because
they're building depth. And Keanu Neal, new safety, obviously, a guy they liked in his draft year. So that maybe doesn't come as a massive surprise because we know, Richie, that they like guys when they're coming around for free agency, even if it's for minor depth signings. They like guys that they liked back in the draft process. They also like their own guys maybe coming back for contract number 3. Bud Dupree was in town today. We'll see there. But as far as, why don't you just call him Big Braden, right? You could just call him that if you want to just skip the last name until you feel good about it. I like that they have some internal depth now. They've started to, I think, carve out roles maybe on that defensive line. True nose tackles, unless they're super dynamic, don't get a ton of run anymore. But you can plug him in there, and then maybe DeMarvin Leal has his role more defined. Larry Ogunjobi's role is very defined. I think having everybody slot in a certain place has some value in and of itself, Richie. Yeah,
I know they could use a nose tackle. They were successful when they had one. But I like the front right now with DeMarvin Leal, who's maybe more of like an outside linebacker than he is a defensive tackle. But DeMarvin Leal, Cam Hayward, and Larry Ogunjobi, that's a good front 3 for the Steelers. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Boards to Boards Hotline. We got Jim out in Shaler. How you doing, Jim?
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Hey, the reason why I was calling real quick is I just saw something on the news on your channel about Bob Nutten's not paying the ushers really nothing. If you see how much money this guy's made, Forbes magazine just came out and said how much money the Pirates have made over the past 10 years. And he's not even paying, he's not paying the players. He can't even pay the ushers. These guys ain't making nothing.
All right, thanks a lot for your call, Jim. I know Megan Schiller did that story. We aired it on KDKA today. So, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what's going on over there. I know I obviously want them to have a higher payroll, that's for sure. Want them to pay the ushers. I want everyone to be happy, Chris. That's the world I want to live in, where everyone's happy.
I would only say this without having seen too much about the story, only like a headline right now and getting the basic gist. I know the ballpark experience has been something that they have said they're prioritizing for this year. I think Travis Williams, and I'm paraphrasing, said in an interview, a good ballpark experience can make up for sometimes a bad product on the field or a bad game, and that the opposite is not necessarily true. Well, I disagree with that second part especially. Ushers and people like them, but in this case, I'll say ushers are usually pretty vital to a good ballpark experience, helping people, etc. So I think I'll just kind of let my comments stand right there.
Yeah, there's no question about that, Chris. I know when I enjoy going to games with my family or friends, and you always see the usher, they're always pleasant, showing you your seat, you talk to them for a little bit. So hopefully they can get something worked out.
Did you ever slip them like a 20 in the old days and say, hey, some of those seats up there.
Yeah, like move me up there. Yeah. I think everyone has done that. All right, let's go back out to phone lines. We got Fred out in North Huntington. How you doing, Fred?
Hi, guys. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Good. Thanks.
Hey, I had a question about the Penguins and Pirates TV deal. Is there any update as far as what's going to happen in the future here? The reason I'm asking you that is because I thought the contract was up, March 31st, and there hasn't really been any update. I read an article today that said something about we don't have to worry about, as of right now, watching the Pirate games on TV and the Penguin games as far as the playoffs. But is there a chance that, you could turn the TV on and all of a sudden you don't have Pirate games one day or Penguin games?
No, Fred, there's not a chance of that happening. I know that was a deadline imposed by the network, right? Not necessarily the teams. I know the deal isn't up. It's just a TV, the networks, the regional sports
Parent
network.
companies are getting out of.
They want to get out of it.
Companies are getting out of the regional sports.
You're
going to
see someone take over it, right, Chris? Someone's going to take over it, whether it's the Pirates or the Penguins or a Nesson or something.
I think MLB is going to take over. In the case of baseball, there's a good chance they just produce their own stuff in-house. Like, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, and this is projecting a little bit down the road, that MLB Network becomes a place that houses local teams' games, in-market games. Okay, you've got a game, you've flipped MLB Network, it's going to have a broadcast that feels and looks very familiar to you, but it's going to be on a different channel. But I would say the sort of the winds are blowing and swirling around regional sports networks, and I think those are headed down the path of no return. That's at least what I'm gleaning, but then again, I'm a mass comm major, not a business major.
No, I definitely agree with you that I think the leagues will take it over at some point. I don't know when, but I don't want people to worry. You're going to see the Pirates and Penguins on TV in some form or fashion, whether it's called AT&T Sports Network or called something else. And that's what I think the president, Travis Williams, talked a little bit about, and the Penguins said, you're going to see our games. And they're figuring things out right now. So they're going to be on TV somewhere.
You want to put in a bid, Richie?
Yeah.
You want to scrape some couch money together and, scrape through the cushion, see what we can do, maybe get the Walsh and Mulsey network up?
That would be a cool network. That would be fun.
We just do all the games. We kind of just sit around. We broadcast from our respective houses, just call the games as we see fit.
Yeah, and when the games aren't on, we just do the nightly sports call all day long, just taking phone calls all day about whatever you want.
The daily sports call. This is the 24-hour never-ending sports call.
Let's go out to Will in McKees Rocks. How you doing, Will?
I'm good, guys. How are you tonight?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Thank you for taking my call, as always. I wanted to talk about the Buccos win today, if you don't mind. I think it was a great first step into a long season, but they did something today in the game that they didn't do very much of last year, and that was they played small ball, and they did the fundamentals right. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well,
I mean, they made Richie. I'll take that first. Okay. I think small ball adherence. Like, people were talking about how this pitch clock is going to take baseball back to like the glory days of the 70s, maybe the 80s too, where there was a lot more small ball. I would imagine the way they pushed across the winning run had to just put a huge smile on people's faces. Lead off walk, guy steals second, bunt him over to third. O'Neal Cruz gets down in the count, but then lifts a ball high enough in that bandbox ballpark to push across the winning run. I think that's going to be another offshoot of this pitch clock, is that you're going to see teams put the ball in play more, get runners moving more, and again, to go back to my theme here, get more action in every baseball game.
Yeah, more stolen bases, bigger bases, different rules for the pitcher. All right, so one more phone call here before we take a break. Kirk out in Harmer. How you doing, Kirk?
Hi, guys. Hi, Richie and Chris. Hey, as a lifelong Pittsburgh resident, born and raised in East Liberty, I was a paper boy for all the Pirates. They lived in Penley Park Apartments, which was owned by Galbraith back then. And, boy, I'm so grateful and blessed as a sports enthusiast for all the memories. You know, those were the great years with the Pirates. And with the Rooneys and Lemieux owning these other sports franchises, my mind is full of just fantastic memories. But I'm sorry to say that through the last 25 years, through this current dual ownership of McClatchy Nutting, it's been nothing but horrific. These guys are not baseball people. They don't care about Pittsburgh or Pirate fans or baseball in general. And it's the same old thing over and over, year after year. What are they? They're 4-21 in winning seasons in the last 25 years.
Yeah, Kirk. I think one of the most important things that I think an owner of a team should have is pride, and you want to win, right? I understand it's a business and you want to make money too, but you have to have some pride, Chris, about winning and figure out a way to win. I know they tore it down to build it back up, but I feel like sometimes you got to spend money to make money, and I don't think the Pirates have done that a lot over the last 25 years.
Pretty simple thoughts on this one. I think that they need to, they should, they need to, and they can spend more money. I think that is an imperative. I also think, it's easy to get cynical in the modern age and say owners are just way disconnected. They all treat it as an item in a portfolio. That's too often true. Fenway Sports Group might end up starting to look at the Penguins that way in a couple years. Who knows? But especially in cases, and most of them are these cases, where public money is building stadiums, I think there ought to be an imperative to put a competitive team in those stadiums that were built with local tax dollars. That's how I see it.
All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls coming up next. Stay right there.